being televised.
Let me tell you something. If we have more than 5 mics going at one time, they'll feedback. So like if you were on television, I didn't know he's been televised. That's totally weird. So if and like the other John, that one, I was like, I ain't gonna remember to ask a question.
Wait.
Chairman Coleman, if you will allow me the privilege to introduce new system OPD as well.
Okay.
Very important. On the policy side of the brain and our budget side of the brain, and fiscal affairs, student finance commission working over there. Lisa's the new division director at OPD for education. Very important person. She knows all the numbers and she has a great staff with her as well. She's taking her own rounds.
Is this young man studying under Dr. Ben Scafferty?
No, sir.
Okay.
That was required.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Happy to be here.
What you want to tell them is if a person,
I
if a
will.
member's asking a question or talking, they should turn their mic on.
All right, let's stay right here a second. All right, I've just been notified we are now live, and we are being, you see the little light? They're watching us. Hello, everyone. So glad to have our website, is that right?
Yes,
Website audience with us. As you know, this year, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit, we are broadcasting our all committee meetings live over the our website. And this will be recorded. You can go home and watch it and see what you've done. Review yourself. It will be kept. And you'll notice every one of you have a mic that's in front of about 2 or 3 of you. Be sure your mic is in the off position, because if more than one mic's on, we'll get some feedback, and that's what he was telling. We'll get some feedback, and they cannot hear you. If you present, be sure to speak into your mic, and that would be very helpful. And if anyone addresses the group, you'll need to come to the end of the table and speak from this table in this room. Other rooms will be different. No one in the audience, and you'll see this in our rules in a few minutes, you are not allowed at any time to break that barrier, so please do not come across that line. And we'll talk about that in our rules that we're going to adopt later. So, okay. All right, so if you know that, so be sure your makeup is on, you look good, and you feel good now. We're ready to go. So at this time, as soon as we get all the particulars, keep on talking. As soon as we get, all right, what we want to, I need hers, that's why I need Jenna. So what we need to do at this time, I'd like to ask Jenna if she would talk about this process and what we'll be doing this time, how we'll be operating it.
Basically, as he said, I kind of will be the go-to person. So if you need anything, just come to me, and I'll be distributing the minutes as well as any other kind of committee reports. So if you have legislation, get it to me, and I'll be the one collecting your reports also on your bill. I'll be working with Representative Miller on collecting those reports for each piece of legislation that we will hear. And of course, as the chairman's reiterated many times before, that we won't hear a bill if it doesn't have your report attached to it. So it's important for you to work with me and Representative Miller on getting us those. So other than that, just basic etiquette that the chairman already went over. Just be sure to use your mics. Be cognizant of the fact that we are televised. So if you want everyone to hear you, it's just very important to use your microphones and just be aware of that. But I expect everything to run smoothly. But do feel free to contact me if I can help you in any way.
And where you'll know this, the Education Committee, our regular meetings will be every Tuesday at 3:30 in room 606. That holds, you can get 30 people up there in the committee space, and so we'll have plenty of room for the people in the audience. But for today, since this was a call meeting, we felt it best to meet in here. This will be for, I think most of these meetings in here will be committee meetings and retirement meetings. It's subcommittee meetings rather, and maybe retirement will be held in here. At this time, Tuesdays at 3:30. We'll be meeting Tuesdays at 3:30 at 606. First thing I'd like to do is have you look, if you would, in your folder. You have the rules of the committee that we adopted, and because of the webcast we're doing, we've had to add 3 additional rules that we will go over with you. So if you'll just briefly look over this quickly, because you adopted them last year and we're still operating on them, and I'll ask you to help me. The new rules, I'd like you to look at 13, 14, and 15, and I'd like to go over those with you, and then we will adopt these new rules. First one, 13 would be 5 minutes prior, during, and 5 minutes after a televised webcast committee meeting, no one other than a member of the committee, committee aide, administrative assistant, to the chairperson or committee intern shall walk beyond the witness pulpit. That sounds good. For any reason. That is the witness pulpit where she just walked in. She just took the pulpit, all right? Oh, that's right. We're learning. This is fun. I can't wait to go home and watch this. Number 14, if you look at that. During committee meetings, committee members and everyone else, and I just heard a violation, in the audience shall either turn off, place in silent mode, all cell phones, pagers, or other similar devices. So everybody get them off right now. Beep, beep, beep. Let's get them off. We'll read it. Number 15, no one who is not a member of the committee, now this is one, shall speak. Now in the past, think about it, you members of the, we've said audience members that come up and talk to a committee member during the thing, give them a little note and ask them to do something. But listen to this one. No one who is not a committee member shall speak to a member of the committee while a televised or webcast meeting is in progress without first obtaining consent of the chairperson. Now here's how you get consent. Such consent may be obtained by making a request to the committee aide, administrative assistant, or committee intern, who will then pass the request to the chairperson, who may give you permission to come up and talk to somebody. So we laugh about this, but this is very critical because these things will be televised and they will be watched, and we want to make them as formal and as professional as we can. So without a delay, you've seen the rules. We have one spelling mistake there. We will correct. We misspelled web there. But do I have a motion that the rules be adopted? I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor, would you please raise your right hand? All opposed? Anyone against? Unanimous. Thank you. All right. And our secretary will be taking minutes along with you. We're doing this together, okay? Now, what I'd like to do at this time is I'd like for us to tell you that not all full committees will be televised. Subcommittees, that's where most of our work is done, may not be televised. But if we have some agenda items, like I'm sure the first governor's bill or whatever, we will televise those where we think we're going to have a lot of deliberation. They will be scheduled in 606 where they can be televised. So we don't plan to have all subcommittees if it's just some minor bills, but where there's a lot of debate, a lot of discussion, they will be televised. As you remember, the way our rules call, all the debating and all audience participation takes place in subcommittees. That's where all the work is done. Any bill that is then moved to the full committee, the only ones who can ask questions or participate will be committee members. Now, we doesn't mean we can't. We can still debate and discuss them, but there will be no audience participation in full committee when it moves to the full committee. So, any questions about that, committee members? Okay. Let's move on to the next item. All right. At this time, we would like to take, and I'd like to ask Representative Miller to assign the bills, and he has some information to pass out to you, and assign all the bills that we have at this time.
Okay.
You turned on at the top, up the top. There you go.
It's good to be on film doing this. Okay, remedial microphone work. Here we go. The two subcommittees are academic achievement, academic support, if you remember. And Mr. Maxwell chairs academic achievement. Ms. Reese is the vice chair. Academic support, I'm sorry, I did that backwards. Mr. Dixon is the vice chair of that. Academic achievement is David Cassis and Ms. Reese for vice chair of that. Now, the bills we have, and we're going to make an exception to start this off, because normally before we assign the bills to a subcommittee, we have to have one of those magical pieces of paper that you all remember, the one-page synopsis of the bill, in order to deal with it. Not everybody has those forms in. Before the subcommittee meets, let's make sure the authors of the bill have those forms in, because the only ones I'm aware of that have forms in so far are the governor's people on his bill. So the first bill is by Mr. Freeman of the 140th, HB 897. This is assigned to Mr. Maxwell's committee. And what this bill does, it relates to education and programs under QBE and changes the dates by which a child must reach a certain age in order to be eligible for enrollment in certain educational programs. And it changes the date from September 1st to July the 1st. Next bill by Representative Harbin of the 118th, again will be assigned to Mr. Maxwell's committee. And this bill requires the DOE to administer funds for the purpose of coordinating adapted sports and physical ed programs for disabled students in Georgia. The bill number is Bill HB 900. Next bill is HB 920. Representative Smith of the 70th, Representative Horn of the 71st. This bill relates to state employees' health insurance plan, authorizes local boards of education to provide health insurance benefits to members leaving on or after December 31, 06 if they have served 12 years as a member of the local board. Former members shall pay the entire cost of the health insurance coverage. Next bill is again, Representative Maxwell. Next bill, HB 922, Representative Reese of the 11th. Turns out Representative Miller of the 79th, and Benton of the 31st. This bill provides an extension of health care benefits to local board members who have served at least 10 years. Again, Representative Maxwell's committee. Next bill is HB 940 by Representative Benton. It makes February 12th of each day Georgia Day in all public elementary and secondary schools in Georgia. Is to be observed as the anniversary of the first colonists landing in Georgia. On this day, teachers are to conduct exercises related to Georgia's history. If the date falls on a weekend, Georgia Day will be observed the next school day. And this bill will be assigned to Mr. Maxwell's committee, academic support. Next bill, HB 969. This is the governor's 65% bill. The authors are Roberts, Golick, Coleman, Jones, and Miller. It relates to financing for QBE, requires local schools to spend a minimum amount of operating funds on direct classroom expenditures, 65%. This will be assigned to academic achievement, Mr. Casas' committee. And HB 969. The last bill, HB 972, Representative Casas, Everson, Cox, and Maxwell. Relates to teacher certification. Professional Standards Commission shall not require a course in computer skill competency or the InTech program, but one in basic computer skill competency for teacher certification renewal. The test should be made available to be taken on-site at the school where the certificated personnel are assigned. Local systems shall appoint individuals at each school to serve as proctors for taking these tests. Again, this will be academic achievement. And the bill number is HB 972. If some of you've got some bills that you're interested in that were carried over, please just see us later and we'll talk about them at that point, the status of where those particular bills are. Some were left in subcommittee, some were left in rules, some were left in the Senate, and that's where we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Miller. Again, the bills, as he said, each subcommittee chair will be contacting all authors of bills that remained in their committee and just touching base with them to see what, and let them know what we're going to be doing with the bills and what their intentions are about the bills and what they would like to be have done with the bills. But so we plan to look at that and do that. Some of these bills, and we'll talk about it as we move along, some of these bills we're going to roll into some study committees. The State Department of Education is going to help us with some, and we'll be talking about those later. So that's the status of where we are now. At this time, again, we'd like to recognize our newest member of our committee, Representative Everson. So we welcome you to the Education Committee and know you have a lot to offer, and we appreciate you being here with us and look forward to working with you. At this time, I'd like to recognize, if I could, I meant to do this, our Coca-Cola vending, soft drink. Stand up just a second. And tell us what y'all have done with the schools and how and what y'all have done. Please approach the microphone up here where you can come right over here. Just sit right there in that chair, yeah. Because they're getting you with this camera somewhere. It's right over there, you're being televised. Okay. Yes, be sure it's clicked on. Push it forward, yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm here. I am the intern of Kevin Perry. He wasn't able to make it today, so I did bring a little bit of the literature. We have self-regulated our industry here in the state, and on 3 different levels. With the elementary school, we've provided only bottled water and 100% juices. And with middle schools, we provided nutritious and lower calorie beverages as bottled water, 100% juices, sports drinks, no calorie soft drinks, low calorie juice drinks, no full calorie soft drinks, and full calorie juice drinks with 5% or less juice provided until after school hours, so not during school hours for middle schools. And for high schools, a variety of beverage choices such as bottled water, 100% juices, sports drinks, and juice drinks. And no more than 50% of the vending selections will be soft drinks in high schools.
Very good, thank you. We appreciate that. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
You know, that's been a big concern in schools about the Cokes and whatever's been, that's been served. And so you said self-regulated, and we appreciate that. Any questions?
Absolutely.
Any questions for our visitor? We appreciate that. Thanks
Thank you
a lot
very
for what
much.
you've done. At this time, I want to talk with you about the meeting. All of you, I hope, got your notice about Monday week, the 23rd. And I'm going to pass these notices out now, so please take one and keep them. But these notices, they're about a meeting. If you know, next Monday week at 3 o'clock, and it says at 4:03 in this room in the Capitol, we're expecting about 100 people. So we're looking at moving that to 6:06. That's where we're trying to move it, and we'll notify you Monday morning where it'll be, but just put it on your calendar. This is a very important meeting because at this time we're going to have a report of the I-Square group. Dean Alford's group is coming in to give us an update of where they are with the governor's new education reform movement, the funding group, and they'll be reporting to us about 30 to 35 minutes. And then after that, there's a group that I am really, I visited a couple of their schools this summer, and Senator Moody visited. We've asked 15 students from Bear County, Walton County, and around the state who are in an alternative program. These are students who were on the verge of dropping out of school, not because of discipline problems, but just academic problems. They just were not interested. School wasn't meeting their needs, and they've started these programs there, and we're having these students come. We're not going to have a presentation by the school. This is going to be unique. We're going to have them set up at the front, and we're going to ask them questions. And I want you to hear these students talk about how the schools failed them, how the parents failed, how the students failed, and what has made a difference in their life. It really did touch me, and it really, I think, has given us some good information and a good direction we need to go in the future for working with students. And so you'll want to be with this group. If you miss any of it, don't miss that group. That is a great group of students, and they'll be here with us about 30 to 45 minutes to answer our questions. So please try to make every effort to attend that meeting. I think you'll find it very good and very informative. It'll be a joint House and Senate meeting. Any questions about that? All right, at this time, one thing that a tradition our former chair started years ago that I think is so much fun, that's the dinner. We always had those good dinners. We're going to have 2 dinners. We've been invited to by Bruce Wagner, and he has and a group. It's the Georgia Miners Association, GAE Page, and various groups have invited us to dinner. And our first dinner has been scheduled for February the 2nd. Now, you're going to get some more information about it, but put that on your calendar. February the 2nd. 191 Club will be having an education dinner. We're going to have the superintendent of schools will be coming to be with us. We're going to invite the chancellor, too. We hope to try to meet the new chancellor. So we're looking to have a good time. We're going to start this early. We do a little difference. We're not going to have a social hour. We're just going to come on about 6 o'clock and eat. Going to try to start eating about 6:30. So we'll give you more information about that. And then the chamber is going to do a dinner for us probably 3 or 4 weeks later. And Jeanette, where are we going? Fratelli's, is it? Fratelli's, yes. We're going there, and we'll let you know more about that one later. So that will, and then we're looking again probably at Sine Die having a committee luncheon. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about those later at that time. At this time, are there any questions? Or have I left out anything? Any questions any of you have, or anything you'd like to know? Anybody? Yes, ma'am. But you turn your mic on now, because you just push it forward. Bring it forward. There you go.
Thank you. Having been out of the classroom for many years, I returned to the classroom a few months ago to work with children because we have a teacher shortage, and this is in Albany, Georgia. And I promised my teachers when I got back, after having worked with them so closely in the classroom, that I would really bring to the forefront the overwhelming concerns about paperwork. Teachers are so overwhelmed with the amount of paperwork that they're having to do to document what they're doing in their classrooms. And it's a real concern. And I even threatened to bring all the paper and just paste it all over the walls in the Capitol, in our meeting rooms. But I really want to let you guys know, and just please help our teachers all over the state do something with eliminating the amount of paperwork that they're having to deal with. We spend hours and hours of trying to keep up with the instructional end of dealing with the children, along with the amount of paperwork that's required. Yes, sir. Good.
Yeah, we have a bill, and Tom Dixon, Representative Dixon, he introduced that bill, and he's asking for a joint study committee to be done this summer to take and look at just what you're talking about, the large amount of paperwork to go along with this IE squared, to see what that we're requiring. So, hey, you may want to see about being on that committee. That would be good. Sir, may have just gotten you another position. Any other questions or anything else anybody like to ask? Yes. Representative Houston, push it forward. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I noticed the copies of our bills were not in the blue folder. Or last year, I think we got copies of the bills. Or
You will have them, yes.
We will have them this year, too.
Yeah, what we're waiting, that's a good question. What we did, as you know, Representative Miller, he requires the form to be handed in, and that's the form that says, is this bill already a law? Why are you doing it? Can it be done administratively? And then after we've done all that, then we will place, and at our next meeting, you will have all of the bills that we will be discussing in your folders. Every subcommittee, any bill that be discussing, you'll have there early, yes. Okay? Any other questions? Any other questions? If not, thank you for coming. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.